Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
As always.
Dr. Smith, I read your book, and I have one of my favorite quotes is from Henry Kissinger. He said, "The absence of alternatives clears the mind marvelously." I say it another way, nothing brings clarity and focus quite so well as the absence of alternatives. My concern is that we're in an arms race with China for artificial intelligence and quantum computing, and that if China wins that race, they will not be a superpower, they will be the superpower. I also continue to point out in this committee that there's not a single major refinery for rare earth elements in the Western Hemisphere. There's only 9 in the world, 8 are in China, the other one's in Malaysia. And I just want to ask you, do you think this ought to be one of those moments of clarity that focuses Congress on meeting these demands, these needs?
Thank you, and I do. If I told you with certainty that in 5 years, China will be able to mount cyber attacks against American infrastructure that we have no defense of, would you act now? Yes.
Absolutely.
If I told you that China was building an architecture for national security that was autonomous, robotic, attritable, et cetera, would you act now? Yes, you would. I'm telling you those now.
So if we don't act on the mining, processing, refining of rare earth elements immediately, we could find ourselves in the very position you just described.
That's correct. We want full control of our own supply chain.
Absolutely.
Energy, chips, the infrastructure that we need. It's an issue of national security for America.
Mr. Wang, in order to meet the demands that we have for power generation, what power generation capacity do we need to have to achieve dominance in AI and quantum computing? Do you have any idea of what that would be?
Well, as was mentioned earlier, the scale of data centers that are being built require similar amounts of power as entire cities in the United States.
Well, Dr. Schmidt, you probably don't remember this at the dinner at the Library of Congress. You and I had a brief discussion. One of the things that I continue to point out in this committee and other places is that there's 100, 200 hydrocarbon power generation facilities that have been shuttered, dismantled. We know that we have these enormous power demands. I know there's a move now to go back to opening these back up on natural gas and coal, but what do you think about using small modular reactors to locate them on these facilities to meet, it's the quickest way, I think, to meet these power demands. And the good part of this is, with all due respect to my Democratic colleagues, we're not going to do it with renewables because we just don't have the time to build out everything you have to build out, including the transmission lines. Those transmission lines still exist at these shuttered power plants. We could literally, we could open them with coal or natural gas, but I think we ought to be thinking about small modular reactors that can plug into the existing transmission lines. How would you respond to that?
One of my personal frustrations is the regulatory structure around nuclear and SMRs. SMRs are the right answer, so your instincts are exactly correct. Furthermore, they can be built in volume. How many SMRs are in use in America today? Zero.
Zero.
How many, what is the most promising one? An initiative in Canada.
I'm glad you brought that up because they just licensed it, what, 2 days ago or a week ago?
And the typical supply, the fast approval time is considered to be 12 years. That defies logic. We need a new program around much faster permitting for safer and safer fission and fusion nuclear. SMRs are the correct path. One of the issues that's, sorry for the details, is 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when the standard for permitting in nuclear was set at a threshold below natural radiation. Alex can talk about this with great detail more than I can. At the end of the day, it was set too hard. It was a mistake. It needs to be fixed.
Well, the GE Hitachi, and I'm taking sides for any brand, could be built in about 3 years, but you made another point there that I think is very important for this committee, and that is the economy of scale. If we were committed to building these out in scale, so much of it can be done in factory, so much of the testing can be done in factory and then on site. I think it is extremely important that this government move towards small modular reactors to meet the power demands that we have to even be competitive with China in the AI space. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.